The Dhammapada Sutra spoken by the Buddha. Chapter 22, verses 306 to 319. Beginning from verse 306. A man who tells lies or utters falsehood ends up in hell. Likewise, the man ends up in hell who acts and then says, I didn't act as such. Humans of base and depraved conduct, they all have the same fate in the future life. Verse 307. Many humans robed in yellow are full of wrongs and bad deeds, and besides lack self-control. And those full of wrongs and bad deeds surely proceed to hell as a result of their wrongs and bad actions. Verse 308. Surely it is more advantageous to ingest a fiery, blazing, rounded metallic mass than for a depraved human lacking self-control to consume the charity foods of the place. Verse 309. A man who is basically irrational and depraved, keeping company with somebody else's wife, immediately attracts four grave consequences. A man who is basically irrational and depraved, keeping company with somebody else's wife, immediately attracts four grave consequences. Rapidly increasing faults, trouble, slumber, and anxiety. The third is shame, embarrassment. And the fourth and final is hellfire. Verse 310. Rapidly increasing faults, an evil reincarnation, and the momentary delight. The momentary delight of a very scared man and a very scared woman. While the rulers award a grave punishment as a consequence for the evil done. And thus, a man should not keep company with somebody else's wife. Verse 311. Precisely like a flat, narrow leaf of grass will cause a wound or injury to a man's hand when improperly handled. In other words, when badly handled or rashly handled. A rashly accomplished life in religion will down a man until he ends in hell. Verse 312. Slack attitude, slack conduct, violated customs and regulations, doubts regarding one's purity or virtue. These will not attract nor result in any special or grand advantage. Verse 313. Go, do it, proceed and achieve it, if it is an obligation or duty. Work hard at it with diligence. A devout man who becomes slack and indolent only increases waste and garbage. Verse 314. It is best to avoid a bad deed or evil deed and not do it. An evil deed attracts penalties, evil consequences. But it is best to do a good work, regarding which a man shall not be penalized, having accomplished it. Verse 315. Like a boundary city or town, closely washed both internally and externally. Closely washed both internally and externally. Keep watch. Keep watch. Keep an eye on yourself, body and soul. Allow not even 1 second to disappear unobserved. allow not even 1 second to disappear unobserved. Humans who misused the opportunity they had or simply let it slip away weep bitterly when they are downed and doomed in hell. Verse 316, embarrassed over non-issues for embarrassment, and not embarrassed over proper issues for embarrassment. Clinging to erroneous opinions, the masses or vast multitudes proceed headlong to evil reincarnations. Verse 317, noticing things assumed harmful or deadly, where there is nothing harmful or deadly, and not observing the harmful and deadly where present. Clinging to erroneous opinions, the masses or vast multitudes proceed headlong to evil reincarnations. Verse 318, noticing a flaw where there is no flaw, and not observing a flaw where present. Clinging to erroneous opinions, the masses or vast multitudes proceed headlong to evil reincarnations. Concluding verse 319, acknowledging a flaw as a flaw, and that which is not a flaw as not a flaw, clinging to correct opinions, the masses or vast multitudes proceed dignified to good reincarnations.